Hello everyone, welcome to MH7 Neat Vibes. I hope you all are doing very fine. हम स्टार्ट करेंगे यूनिट 1 का चैप्टर 1 द लिविंग वर्ल्ड. Diversity in living world. If you look around, you will see a large variety of living organisms, be it potted plant, insect, bird, or your pet, or the other animals and plants. There are also several organisms that you can't see with your naked eye, but they are all around you. If you were to increase the area that you make observation in, the range and variety of organisms that you see would increase. Obviously, if you are to visit a dense forest, you would probably see much greater number and kinds of organism in it. अगर हम किसी ऑर्गेनिज्म की वैरायटी के ऊपर में रिसर्च करेंगे और जैसे जैसे हम एरिया इंक्रीज़ करेंगे उसकी डाइवर्सिटी या फिर उसकी वैरायटी इंक्रीज़ हो जाएंगी. Each different kind of plant, an animal or organism that you see represent a species. The number of species that are known and described range between 1.7 to 1.8. एक organism या फिर एक plant या फिर एक animal खुद एक रिप्रेजेंट करता है एक स्पीशीज़ को, और स्पीशीज़ जो आज तक के ढूंढे गए हैं वो है 1.7 टू 1.8 मिलियन. ये नंबर वेरी कर सकता है लेसन टू लेसन, बट जस्ट रिमेंबर द रेंज. Biodiversity is referred to as number of types of organism present on earth. Biodiversity या तो नंबर है या तो टाइप ऑफ ऑर्गेनिज्म, कितने ऑर्गेनिज्म के टाइप प्रेजेंट है अर्थ के ऊपर में, उसको रिप्रेजेंट करता है. वी शुड रिमेंबर here that as we explore new areas or even old ones, new organisms are continuously being identified. As stated earlier, there are millions of plants and animals in this world. We know plants and all animals by their local names. These local names vary from place to place or even within a country. Probably we would recognize the confusion that would be created as if we did not find ways and means to talk to each other to refer the organism we are talking about. एक organism को हर एक local place में, हर एक geographical place में एक अलग नाम दिया जाता है, जैसे हम local names बोलते हैं, और ये country to country या फिर place to place भी vary करेगा, इसलिए बहुत confusion हो जाएगा. तो इस confusion को हटाने के लिए hence there is a need to standardize the naming of living organism such that particular organism is known by same name all over the world. This process is called nomenclature. एक organism को same name से all over the world में जाना जाए, उस process को कहते हैं nomenclature. Obviously, nomenclature or naming is only possible when the organism is described correctly and we know what organism the name is attached to. अगर organism identified हुआ हो correctly, तभी हम उसको एक nomenclature या फिर naming process के थ्रू पुट कर सकते हैं. तो इस प्रोसेस को कहेंगे जिसमें हम आइडेंटिफाई करेंगे ऑर्गेनिज्म को, आइडेंटिफिकेशन. In order to facilitate the study, number of scientists have established procedure to assign scientific name to each known organism. This acceptable to all the biologists all over the world. For plant, scientific names are based on a grid principle and criteria which are provided by International Code for Botanical Nomenclature. अब अगर हमें नाम देना हो तो उसके लिए एक सोसाइटी या फिर एक व्हाट वी से एक ग्रुप ऑफ पीपल्स हैं जिन्हें हम कहते हैं इंटरनेशनल कोड फॉर बॉटेनिकल नोमेनक्लेचर. वो प्लांट्स को नाम देते हैं, और इंटरनेशनल कोड फॉर जोलॉजिकल नोमेनक्लेचर वो एनिमल्स को नाम देते हैं. जोलॉजिकल एनिमल्स, बोटानिकल प्लांट्स. The scientific names ensure that each organism has only one name. The description of organism should be enable the people in any part of the world to arrive at same name. They also ensure such name has not been used for other organism. वो एंश्योर करेंगे कि वो एक नेम जो एक ऑर्गेनिज्म को दिया हुआ है वो दूसरे किसी भी ऑर्गेनिज्म को ना दिया जाए. Biologists follow universally accepted principle to provide scientific names to the known organism. Each name has two components, generic name and specific epithet, and this system of providing two components to the name is called binomial nomenclature given by Carlos Linnaeus. एक ऑर्गेनिज्म के साइंटिफिक नेम के दो कंपोनेंट होंगे, जेनेरिक नेम, स्पेसिफिक एपिथेट, और इस टू कंपोनेंट सिस्टम को हम बोलेंगे बायोनॉमिकल नॉमेनक्लेचर, और ये दिया था कार्लस लिनस ने. Being practiced by biologists all over the world, this naming system using two-word format was found convenient. Let us talk of example of mango. Providing the scientific name of mango is Mangifera indica. Mangifera represent the genus, means mango belongs to genus Mangifera, and indica represents the species or a specific epithet. Our universal rules for nomenclature are as follows. अब nomenclature जैसे Mangifera indica, इसे भी करने के लिए हमें कुछ rules पढ़ने की ज़रूरत होगी. Biological names are generally in Latin or written in italics. Biological names जो होते हैं वो Latin derived होते हैं, और जब लिखेंगे तो उसे italics में लिखेंगे. They are Latinized or derived from Latin irrespective of their origin. The first word in biological name represents genus, while second represents specific epithet or species. First word genus and second specific epithet or species. Both the words in biological name when handwritten are separately underlined or printed in italics to indicate their Latin origin. Latin origin इंडिकेट करने के लिए जब हम उसे लिखेंगे तो उसे अंडरलाइन करेंगे सेपरेटली, और जब प्रिंट करेंगे तो उसे इटैलिक्स में प्रिंट करेंगे, इटैलिक्स फ्रंट में प्रिंट करेंगे. The first word denoting the genus starts with capital letter, while the specific epithet starts with small letter. Illustrated with example of Mangifera indica. The number of author appears after specific epithet, that is and of the biological name, and is written in an abbreviation form. Example Mangifera indica Lin. Mangifera capital letter, indica small letter, and Lin will be written normally. It indicates that this species was first described by Linnaeus. Since it is nearly impossible to study the living organism, it is necessary to devise some means to make this possible. This process is called classification. Classification is the process by which anything is grouped into convenient categories based on some easily observable characters. Classification जो ऊपर से हमें कैरेक्टर्स दिखेंगे या फिर जो इसके मॉर्फोलॉजिकल या एनाटॉमिकल कैरेक्टर्स होंगे उसके बेसिस के ऊपर हम उस ऑर्गेनिज्म को ग्रुपिंग करेंगे, उसे हम कहते हैं क्लासिफिकेशन. फॉर एग्जांपल इजीली रिकॉग्नाइज ग्रुप्स सच एज प्लांट्स और एनिमल्स. प्लांट्स दिखेंगे हमें कि हरे भरे पत्ते हैं, फ्लावर्स हैं, और एनिमल्स उनके आंख पे बाल है, उन्हें कान है, तो ये इजीली ऑब्जर्वेबल कैरेक्टर्स हैं. और डॉग्स और कैट्स और इंसेक्ट्स. The moment we use any of this term, we associate certain character with the organism that we group. What image do you see when you think of a dog? Obviously, each one of us will see dog and not cats. If you were to think of Alestians, we know what we are going to think about. Similarly, suppose we are to say mammal, you would of course think of animals with external ears and body hair. Likewise, in plants, if we talk of wheat, the picture in each of our minds will be of wheat and not rice or other plant. Hence, these dogs, cats, mammals, rice, wheat, plants, animals, etc. are convenient categories which used to study organism. The scientific term for these categories is taxa. Here you must recognize that taxa can be indicate categories that are at different level. Plants also form a taxa. Wheat is also a taxa. एक species को भी हम taxa बोलेंगे, एक genus को भी हम taxa ही बोलेंगे. Similarly, animals, mammals, dogs are all taxa, but you know that dog is a mammal and mammals are animals. Therefore, animals, mammals and dog represent different taxa levels. Hence, based on characters, all of the living organisms can be classified into different taxa. The process of classification is taxonomy. एक taxa को classify करने की procedure को बोलेंगे taxonomy. The external and internal structure along with structure of cell, development of process, ecological information of organism are essential and form the basis of modern taxonomy. ये क्वेश्चन आ सकता है कि मॉडर्न टैक्सोनॉमी के बेसिस क्या है. इंटरनल स्ट्रक्चर ऑफ सेल, डेवलपमेंटल प्रोसेस, इकोलॉजिकल इंफॉर्मेशन. एक ऑर्गेनिज्म की ये बेसिक क्राइटेरिया है मॉडर्न टैक्सोनॉमिकल स्टडीज़ के. प्लीज़ रिमेंबर दिस. हेंस characterization, identification, classification, nomenclature are the process that are basic to taxonomy. Taxonomy is not something new. Human beings have always been interested in knowing more and more about the various kinds of organisms, particularly with reference to their own use. Early days, human beings needed to find source for their basic needs, food, clothing, shelter, and hence earliest classification were based on the uses of various humans. Earliest classification पहले ह्यूमन बीइंग अपनी ज़रूरत के हिसाब से कोई भी चीज़ को कैटेगराइज करता था, इसीलिए अर्लीस्ट क्लासिफिकेशन यूजेस ऑफ वेरियस ऑर्गेनिज्म के ऊपर होंगी. जस्ट रिमेंबर दिस, अर्लीस्ट क्लासिफिकेशन वाज बेस्ड ऑन यूजेस ऑफ वेरियस ऑर्गेनिजम्स. Human beings were since long not only interested in knowing more about different kinds of organisms and their diversity, but also relationship among them. This branch of study was referred to as systematics. The word systematic is derived from Latin word systema, which means systematic arrangement of organisms. Linus used Systema Naturae as the title of his publication. The scope of systematics was later enlarged to include identification, nomenclature, and classification. Systematics take into account evolutionary relationship between organisms. Linus की publication का नाम Systema Naturae. Just remember this, please. It's really important. So, meet you in the next video with next topics of this lesson. Thank you.